Most professionals believe career progress is about effort. If you work harder, become more skilled, take on more responsibility, you expect your career to move forward. And for a long time, that belief was correct. Effort worked, experience worked, reliability worked. And if you kept performing, the system rewarded you. But today, that logic is quietly breaking down. Not because people stopped caring, not because people stopped adapting, but because effort is no longer the signal organizations respond to. That's why so many capable, experienced professionals feel blindsided. They didn't stop performing, they didn't stop improving, and they didn't stop trying. They just kept optimizing for a signal that quietly stopped mattering. And this video is about the signal that does matter now and why most people don't recognize it until it's too late. Welcome to the channel. If you're new here, I'm Thomas Schmidt, and I've spent more than 3 decades as a technology and business executive, including roles as COO, CMO, and VP product, leading teams through multiple industry and technology disruptions. Today, I work with organizations to optimize how they manage technology, streamline operations, and sharpen both their marketing and product strategy. But I also work with mid-career professionals who are trying to understand why the rules they followed successfully for years suddenly stop working. And what I've learned is this. Careers don't collapse because people fail. They collapse because people misread the signal the system is responding to. So what do I mean by career signal? Well, when I say career signal, I don't mean performance. I don't mean how busy you are. I don't mean how many hours you work. And I don't mean how skilled you become. A career signal is what your role communicates to the organization, especially under pressure. It's what leadership infers about your leverage, your replaceability, your proximity to decisions, and your exposure to risk. A simple way to understand this is to separate two things people constantly confuse. Performance is how well you do the work you've been given. Signal is what your role tells your organization about where you fit in the system. So you can be an A-player performer in a role with a weak signal. And you can be an average performer in a role with a strong signal and still be protected. Because organizations don't protect effort. They protect what reduces uncertainty. And signals show up in very practical ways. Do people come to you when something's unclear? Are you pulled into conversations before decisions are final? Do you influence how problems are framed, or do you receive finished problem statements? When priorities collide, do you decide trade-offs, or do you absorb the consequences? None of these questions are about working harder. They're about position. So if you only take one thing from this video, take this. Your career risk is often determined by what your role signals, not how hard you work. Why professionals keep reading the wrong signal? Okay, the reason the problem is so widespread is simple. For decades, the signal and the reward were aligned. If you delivered results, you were advanced. If you became reliable, well, you were protected. And if you accumulated experience, your value compounded. That trained an entire generation of professionals to believe the following. If I just keep performing, I'll be fine. But systems change faster than beliefs. As organizations became more complex, more automated, more pressure-driven, the signal leadership responded to shifted. Quietly, without announcements, without memos. And most people never noticed. They kept optimizing for output while the system quietly started optimizing for something else. The signal organizations actually read. When organizations evaluate roles, especially during uncertainty, they're not asking who works hardest, who's most loyal, who has the longest tenure. Instead, they're asking, where does decision-making happen? Where does risk concentrate? Who shapes outcomes and who executes them? Which roles reduce uncertainty and which depend on it? That's the signal. And once you see that clearly, many confusing career outcomes stop feeling random. Signal number 1, where decisions flow. Okay, well, the first signal organizations read is decision flow. Not who implements decisions, who shapes them. Here's how decision flow usually works inside a company. There's a small set of people who decide things like what matters this quarter, who gets funded, what gets deprioritized, and what good even actually means. Then there's a larger set of people who execute those decisions. In stable periods, execution is rewarded because output is predictable. But when conditions shift, and especially when technology accelerates execution, Well, leadership becomes obsessed with one thing: making fewer wrong decisions. That's why upstream roles are protected. They reduce the risk of betting on the wrong work. So if your role primarily involves things like building what's being specified, delivering what's being planned, optimizing what already exists, well, your leverage is limited because you're downstream. However, if your role regularly involves clarifying what success should look like, questioning assumptions, spotting second order effects, choosing trade offs, well, then you're upstream and that signal is stronger. And this isn't about job titles, it's about whether your work shapes the map or only follows it. Signal number 2: how risk is distributed. Okay, the second signal organizations read as risk distribution. Some roles absorb risk, some roles generate it, and some roles reduce it. Execution heavy roles often absorb risk without influencing it. Decision adjacent roles help manage and allocate risk. And so, from an organizational perspective, those roles are not interchangeable. When trade offs become unavoidable, leadership protects the roles that help them navigate the risk, not the ones most exposed to it. And that's why doing everything right is sometimes not enough. Signal number 3: what happens when the pressure hits? Okay, well, the third signal only appears under stress, and this is where you can read the signal in real time, even if nobody says it out loud. So when the pressure hits, watch out for these movements. Meetings move up the org chart, and if you're suddenly excluded, well, that's a signal. If you're suddenly included, well, that's also a signal. Context gets restricted. Some roles receive more framing and explanation. Others receive tasks with less context. Work becomes more reversible. Leadership prefers decisions that can be undone. Roles that manage reversibility gain influence. Language changes. You start to hear words like standardize, streamline, operationalize, automate. That vocabulary usually points at execution compression. Most professionals interpret this as politics, but it's not politics. It's the organization revealing where it believes leverage is located under pressure. So if you learn to read these signals early, you stop being surprised later. Why this hits mid-career professionals the hardest? Mid-career professionals are especially vulnerable to misreading signals, not because they're outdated, not because they lack skill, but because experience often pulls people towards operational excellence. They become reliable, they become efficient, they become indispensable executors. And slowly, without realizing it, they drift downstream, away from decision making and towards delivery. That feels safe until it isn't. And by the time the signal changes, many people are already positioned on the wrong side of it. How to start reading your own signals differently. Okay, well, this isn't about panic, and it's not about quitting your job or reinventing yourself overnight. It's about orientation. So instead of asking yourself, am I performing well? Am I busy? Am I indispensable? You need to start asking yourself, where does my role sit relative to decisions? Do I help define problems or only solve assigned ones? Am I closer to outcomes or to instructions? What signal does my role send under pressure? Those questions matter more than your next certification. They change how you evaluate opportunity, risk, and relevance. What this changes going forward? Okay, once you start reading the correct signal, something important happens. You stop personalizing systematic shifts. You stop equating effort with protection. And you stop assuming that more work equals more security. And instead, you begin positioning yourself more deliberately, not by doing more, but by understanding where your effort actually compounds. That's not pessimism. That's clarity. And most professionals aren't failing at their careers. They're just optimizing the wrong signal. And once you understand what the system is actually responding to, you can make calmer, smarter decisions about where to invest your time and energy. And if this gave you a new perspective, please hit the like button and share it with a friend who's feeling uncertain about the future of work. And of course, subscribe for more weekly videos on how to grow, evolve, and future-proof your career in the age of AI. Until next time, keep growing, keep learning, and keep showing the world that your best work is still ahead of you. And I'll see you in the next one.